your name needs to be spoken in rooms that you're not in. And after a decade of entrepreneurship, I, my friends, wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, I want my name, my business, anything and everything to be in rooms that I am not in, because you're only one person. So yeah, you might get ghosted, right? You might try to shoot your shot and put things out there and network online. You might hear no, but that one person that you connect with could really catapult you to reach that next level of business success. Hey there, I'm Paige Griffith, your host and an attorney for small business owners. I help online businesses and creatives get legally legit in no time. This podcast is all about the legal and the Paige behind it. I'll break down and simplify legal talk while providing practical business guidance every step of the way. And after over a decade in the entrepreneur space and becoming a mother, I'll also be sprinkling in tips for running a business and giving you a glimpse behind the scenes of what life's really like. As a gentle reminder and disclaimer, I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. So be sure to seek legal counsel for personalized advice. Welcome to the Legal Paige Podcast. I remember back in April of 2023, I was recently pregnant with my second child, about 8 weeks in or so. And I was at a mastermind retreat in Mexico, actually. And I was asked by the host to provide some insight into my networking skills. I have built all my businesses from networking, and she mentioned that she really thought it was a huge asset and skill set of mine. I was honored and really humbled that she thought so. So she wanted me to share with the entire group my best suggestions regarding networking. But when I ended up delivering the discussion, I honestly just felt a little off. It just wasn't landing right with the group that I was talking to. Organic growth, organic grassroots, reaching out to people online, cold emailing, networking online and in my DMs and on social media. And it just wasn't totally for them. While yes, I think they did in fact glean some stuff from me, they were businesses that had small to medium teams. They were past the point of networking in that respect, right? They had team members do reach outs now and contact and email back and forth. They even have PR managers doing those cold emails and cold reach outs. And clearly the mastermind itself was honestly our networking event. And so we had already gotten to the point where no longer was that necessarily applicable to them. They were in a stage of, no, I am paying to be at networking events with large businesses that I can learn from and be in the room with. And we all understood that. We were there to network with each other, right? And then over the past year, I came back, worked on the legal page, and did all the exact same networking that I shared and have done with all of my businesses. And I've done this with my photography business, my law firm, of course, the legal page, and our massive affiliate program with over 200 plus affiliates, and a bunch of other silent businesses I'm a part of too. And we were once again able to have a super successful 2023 and 2024. Honestly, I owe a huge majority of that to networking and referrals and reaching out and shooting your shot, so to speak. Now, more recently, over the past couple of weeks, I have actually leaned into my networking capabilities a bit more. And honestly, I believe that networking also goes hand in hand with manifesting and just putting things out there into the universe. I'm not a big woo person, but when it comes to networking, I certainly am, because you know what? It works. And I've been able to get referrals recently for hires that we desperately needed right now that I was talking with my marketing director about. And then 24 hours later, I had someone message me for that very same job. Like, what? I was just putting it out there. I didn't even ask anyone. I didn't even say anything on Instagram DMs. So there's a little bit of woo and manifesting, but I'm also like connecting with people and reaching out to industry thought leaders and like, hey, what do you do in this respect? I'm thinking of changing this in my business. Or, hey, has this hit or landed differently with your audience? Like, how could we use that in our contracts? Or talking with another big podcast and hosts and how we can connect together. They've asked me for some legal input, and then they're like pushing me out on their Instagram account, and I'm getting a bunch of leads and hits. And it's just crazy. It's crazy how networking can work. I also just booked a huge podcast guest that has been a dream of mine to have on this show. And ultimately, I'm just thinking bigger picture. I'm floating around in people and affiliates' minds what the future of TLP holds, all from hanging out in Instagram DMs. Here's the thing that now I've really grasped. This type of networking skill that I have is really all about and needs to come directly from the owner, especially if you're a personal brand like I am, which is why I wanted to record this episode for you, my audience in particular, because you're likely a one-person show or have a very small team to assist you, sometimes just contractors to help with like virtual things online, virtual assistant-y type of things. So you could really benefit from some of these networking tips. And honestly, way more than the mastermind group that I was a part of last year. I think this is who I'm supposed to be speaking to on this. And you know why? Because you're on social media. You're the one running that account. You're hungry to grow and make more money and gain more followers and get in front of people. You're the one that's sending those cold emails. Like, you are in it with me. You're in the trenches. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about here. So, since my time talking about this, the very first time I did back in spring of 2023, I have since gathered my thoughts together, and I wanted to record this episode for you because a wise mentor once told me, to be successful, your name needs to be spoken in rooms that you're not in. And after a decade of entrepreneurship, I, my friends, wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, I want my name, my business, anything and everything to be in rooms that I am not in, because you're only one person. So yeah, you might get ghosted, right? You might try to shoot your shot and put things out there and network online. You might hear no, but that one person that you connect with could really catapult you to reach that next level of business success. And so that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So this is an episode for all of you, not for people in my mastermind group that I feel a little bit awkward talking about my grassroots networking, like what I did to build my business. I mean, I think they thought it was interesting, but I feel like I was just getting a lot of eyebrows. I feel like it's way better talked about here on my podcast, in my environment, to my people. So to you all, my background in networking really comes from in-person networking, who I am as an outgoing extrovert, but then also my virtual networking tips, such as cold emailing, cold social media messages, and then everything in between. Let's just dive in, right? Let's talk first about my biggest tip here. Because people are like, how do you do this? Like, how do you get started? And I'm like, you just have to be yourself. Just be yourself. People are truly looking for what you have to offer. And so if you are hiding behind disingenuous messages, copy and paste pitches, they are never going to know what they're missing out on. And you have to tell them. So I have actually been intentional about this the past couple of months. I feel like I've had copywriters or like people on my team help me write pitches. And as I'm testing this out, it's not working as well. It's not working because it's not me. And so I go in and I will intentionally write an email from scratch. I'm not going to use AI. People can totally tell if you're using AI, by the way. So be yourself. Don't be an AI bot. And just sit down and write the email. Write the cold DM. And I'm going to get into like other ways, if you're not into writing, how you can also be yourself through networking. Then this is a big one that I would say here. Keep it mutually beneficial, right? I did this when I first started building my businesses. I would never go into a networking conversation with the mindset of this is only going to benefit me. You always should make sure that whatever you're proposing is mutually beneficial to your new connection that you're trying to make, to whom you're networking with, to their network as well. Like a mastermind I was recently at, we were asked to stand across from one another. And there was like 60 women in the room. It was pure mass chaos and super loud and overstimulating. But what beautifully came of it was we had 1 minute each, so 2 minutes per group, to be like, what do you do? What is your give? And what is your ask? And when I went into that, all I thought about was like, I could give my community and like what I've built. And if that aligned with their business and their ask, then I was like, yes, let's talk further. But if it didn't, at least they knew what I did, what I built. And I wasn't going to ask of anything from them if it wasn't going to align mutually, right? Are you ready to officially make your business legally legit? Get started the right way with my free 10 steps to set up a legal business checklist. Packed with expert guidance from me, this step-by-step checklist helps you navigate the legal essentials of running your business quickly and easily. Don't leave your business vulnerable, my friend. This guide will teach you how to decide on your business structure, file your business name with your state, get a business bank account and EIN number, avoid commingling funds, properly sign your contracts through your business, get good business insurance, and get all the basic contracts that you need in place. Head to the episode description for a link to get access to this free 10-step checklist today. So if you're reaching out to somebody and you're like, I just want their audience, like, they're not going to respond back. What can you do for them, right? So before you send that DM, that email, that voice message, check yourself. What is this person or this network? What are they going to get out of your relationship? And are those benefits kind of crystal clear in your message? Because they have to be. When I first started, I would go, like the legal page, when it very first started, I would just put out blogs all the time. And then I just ask people, like, could I write a similar blog for their platform? What could I be a legal expert for them? And I was just building back-end links and SEO, which I didn't know now is super wonderful to have. I was new. I was like baby business owner, but I was literally just trying to benefit their audience. I wasn't trying to get anything out of it. I didn't even have a contract stop. I had no CTA, call to action. I was not selling anything. When I specifically remember going to an in-person event, and I wasn't a well-known name. I didn't have an established business. Like, I couldn't speak on a stage or even in a breakout session. So what did I ask? I said, no, it wasn't, what did I ask? It was, what could I give? What did I give to them? And how would it be not only mutually beneficial, but just truly beneficial to them at the beginning? I'm transitioning here into my third one, which is give first, then ask. But if you make it beneficial to them only, when I went to this in-person event, I said, hey, would all of these business owners like benefit from some one-on-one guidance? I would love to just do some like miniature group, like fire a bunch of legal questions at me and I'll answer. And then the group can learn from me and gain insight. And they probably don't have, this was like a small business, solopreneur kind of service provider world conference that I was at, and they didn't have the money to go like hire an attorney and ask legal Q&A to somebody and pay hundreds of dollars an hour. So I was like, that's what I can do. Would that work? And they were able to fit me into the schedule on breakout times or in between sessions, at lunchtime, at dinner time, before the main session started in the morning. And so I just did a bunch of breakouts, and I will never forget, like, that type of networking, I think, gained me, once I started building the legal page, 10, 20 of some of our biggest affiliates. And then give first, then ask. I had mentioned that. But really, instead of asking for something right off the bat, give them something first. So in general, I do not like to ask for anything from those new connections until I have fulfilled my give. Let me say that again. I am not going to ask anything of anyone until I have fulfilled my give. So you have to go into the networking thinking this is going to be mutually beneficial, but I know what my give is and I'm going to fulfill it. Like, I'm going to be so intentional about seeking out people or networks or business owners or conferences or events or workshops or retreats who would benefit from something that I have to offer. Can I create a custom contract? Could I be a guest expert on their podcast? Could I answer legal questions for them in a Facebook group or in their mastermind community or their membership community? Could I just do a live for them? I want you to apply that type of concept to your own business. So seek out connections who need what you have. What is your expertise, right? What is your USP, unique selling proposition? Not the sell, right? So take out the unique selling proposition. What is unique to your business that you offer? Not that you're selling per se, so not the USP, unique selling proposition, but what is that back unique talent, skill set, professional degree, expertise, mentorship? Like, what is it that you can offer them? And then seek out connections and networks and who need what you have, and then genuinely and generously offer it to them. Because then, my friend, when the time is right, you can ask something of your connection, and they will be more than willing to go out of their way for you, or they are probably going to do a lot more. And again, this is like an over-deliver approach here. If you're over-delivering on that and you just like wowed their audience or wowed their team or wowed them with going above and beyond with what your give was. So I fulfill my give. I fulfill my give. And then I ask something of them. And then the network is mutually beneficial. The connection is mutually beneficial. And you probably have instilled more of a lifetime network connection there. My next tip is voice message or video message. So in my opinion, these days, everyone hides behind a screen or text. So if you send a voice or a video message, you will win someone 100 points more than if you sent them in a plain old DM. Because when people hear your voice or they see your face, that's even better, you become a real person to them and they are much more likely to answer you. If you do it only in text format and you're like, Paige, I can't do it. I'm not a good talker. I don't want to be on video. That scares the bejeebers out of me. That's okay. Just go back to my beginning things of making it unique and authentic every single time if you're only texting and sending cold emails and cold DMs. My friends, I have made my biggest industry friend. We hang out. We talk, I would say, every other day. We hang out. She comes to Montana. I go to where she lives. It's my best friend in the industry. And I'm so, so grateful. Guess where I made that friendship? A cold email. And then I was like, yeah, I'll come speak at your workshop after we had made this whole contract for her entire network and audience. And I was like, let me take the legal liability off of like you having to try to be a lawyer for your audience. And she was like, I don't want that legal liability and risk. And I absolutely don't want to take it on. Mind you, that's illegal. You shouldn't take it on and you shouldn't sell contracts if you're not a lawyer. So I was like, yeah, let me do this. And I worked really hard and spent hundreds of hours on it and then spoke at a couple events. And since then, we've just maintained an insanely amazing friendship. And that is how I've approached really every affiliate relationship. Like our top affiliates are my friends. I could hang out with them. I really just need to invite them to the cabin here in Montana because that networking would be just amazing and insane. And it would be so beneficial for all of us. Okay, I'm going to plug that in the back of my mind. Team, if you're listening to this, let's do it. But yeah, cold emails, cold DMs. And in DMs, I really try to voice message. Voice message is my bread and butter because I feel like I can have voice inflections and different tonalities, and they really hear what I am genuinely caring about regarding them and their audience. And I like to ask questions and just be like, where are you at in your business? And like, where can I help you legally? What does your audience need? So just be curious. And if you can voice message or video message, that's going to be amazing networking connection for you. Another tip I have is to go to in-person events if you can now in this post-COVID world. So I know it's a bit more challenging than before. There's not a lot of in-person events. I think they're coming back. I started to see them 2022, 2023, definitely in 2024. I just think the economy is tough right now, so it's harder. I don't think people are as into it. I also think we've all become way more accustomed to remote networking and to working remote. So it's a different world pre-COVID. In-person events were just, I think, a lot more amazing. But I'm excited to see what happens in 2024, 2025, 2026 with in-person events. I think they are going to be on the rise because people really are yearning for that in-person connections. And that is where you're going to network. That is where the networking happens. So go to those in-person events if you can. You will not regret it. Honestly, as an online business owner, I just think in-person events are priceless. Like my strongest virtual connections are honestly people I have met in real life at conferences and masterminds and networking events, because you cannot replace that face-to-face conversation. You just can't. You can't replace the hug. right? Can't replace the hug or the handshake. That is why investing in person networking opportunities will honestly, I think, pay off tenfold down the road compared to virtual relationships. I would say, just if I'm going to statistically put it out there, I'm just making this up, but I really truly think that they're going to be, there's more longevity in those in-person networking opportunities than there is virtual. Sometimes I think virtual is like a time and a place for a purpose. And it's either one and done or a couple times and done. But the long-term relationships, there's very few that are cold emails and end up with your best friends in the industry. But sometimes they are. So, okay, here's my biggest tip of all. Just begin. Just go network. You don't know who you don't know, right? You don't know who you don't know. So when you have the courage to put yourself out there, I promise you doors are going to open. I promise doors will open, but they're not going to open if you don't try to open them. So be willing to take the no's and the ghosting. That's going to happen. I would say probably 8, 9 times out of 10. You're going to get ghosted. People are going to say no. It doesn't even hurt my feelings anymore. It's probably going to hurt your feelings a little bit at the beginning of networking. But I don't want it to get you down, because once that 1 of 10 chance lands, and it will land, you're going to be so much better for it. Your business is going to be so much better for it. And you're going to be a better networker for it. All right. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Be sure to visit thelegalpaige.com for contract templates, blogs, YouTube videos, and additional legal resources. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes and leave me a review and rating. It truly means so much to me to hear your feedback and inspires me to continue creating podcast content. Also, I want to personally invite you to my free Facebook group at tlpfacebook.com, where you will get access to me, my legal team, and thousands of other entrepreneurs in there for unlimited business and legal Q&A. Until next time, my friend.